Welcome back to another Creative Encounter podcast episode. I'm your host, Juiette Z, Payne, and you are back for episode 44 of this podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in every single week. If you are watching on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any episodes. If you're on Apple Podcasts listening to this, thank you so much. Please leave us a review. And if you're on Spotify, I would love for you to leave us a rating so that we can reach so many more Kingdom creatives through this podcast. But without further ado, I do want to introduce someone who is a very special friend of mine, someone who is actually just involved in the recent project, Unashamed Live. This is my awesome dancer friend, Sarah Freeman. Sarah, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So good. So great to have you here. How you doing today?
You know, I'm all right. Got to sleep in a little bit this morning, which is always nice for a Saturday.
No,
so.
Right? I love it. Now, today it's like kind of, okay, like we just talked about the last couple of days in Chicago. Yeah. It's been hot.
Oh, yeah.
It has been horribly hot. But now it's like a little refreshing. It's kind of, looks like it's cloudy, maybe going to rain or something.
Yeah, definitely
so
was.
Nice.
It was a bit drizzly coming in, but it wasn't. The roads hadn't started flooding yet, so
there we go.
It wasn't too bad yet.
So we're good.
We're good. Still enjoy the Saturday.
Right? So look. So when we connected, it was at. Did you come to a Creative Encounter event first?
I think it was through Sat in a Boat.
Was that the first time?
I think so. Okay. So when I was actually at I think that was a Creative Encounter event that we performed at?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you come to the first run of Sat in the Boat at the Athenaeum Center for Thought and Culture.
Yes.
And then talked to Rebecca and was like, oh my gosh, we should do this for a Creative Encounter.
Yes.
So then, we met. It was like tech day. We were like setting up.
Yeah, we were setting
up. So I met,
church,
looking at lights and everything.
Awesome.
And then we had the show. That was a busy time. That was just last December, so that was not.
It was crazy. It was such a blessing to have you guys. You guys were phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, but it was just awesome that you guys did that around the time. It was like Christmas season.
It was.
I know it can be hectic around that time. And you guys gave it your all. You were completely dedicated.
I think I came from some sort of Nutcracker rehearsal. I want to say.
Really?
I don't remember. I was a dress rehearsal for Nutcracker, and
so
then
you
had
doing
to
2 shows.
Yeah, on the same day.
At the same day.
Well, I was stage managing the show.
Okay.
So then, had to run from rehearsal to make it. But it was great. I was really thankful,
awesome.
for Rebecca, also just coordinating, making sure we could all get there. It was such a blessing because definitely after finishing the run in October, it was it was such an awesome experience, and it was very sad to be this show is over, and then you were I got a text from her I don't know, a week later or something. We're gonna do it again. I was like, this is awesome. So it was such a blessing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then you showed up for Unashamed Live and just availed yourself for that.
Yeah.
Tell me, because as the artist and we're the ones performing, kind of writing the songs and things like that. So for the audience and individuals to come in and engage and experience it, you were a part of it, but I feel like you were experiencing it as well.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you that night?
Oh, that night was just such a huge blessing for me. I've been in just a time of transition career-wise, moving from one position to another, and that was actually, that recording was the day after I finished my last day on my last job.
Yeah, you were telling me.
So, and it would, my last job, I was working for a ballet company called Ballet 58, which I love so dearly. They're super incredible. Their mission is to engage communities through in conversation of life and faith through innovative storytelling and breathtaking dance. They're based right here, south suburbs of Chicago, and they perform all over the country. So check them out. But it was just the end of that season, moving into my new position. So it was really incredible to just be surrounded by other believer artists, and to just kind of I guess surrender that season of my life to him, and so experiencing that, that was a huge blessing, and it was awesome to just kind of see, be in a room with more people just working and creating. I loved that and loved getting to sit on a rehearsal and just hear you guys work through the songs and that. Yeah, that was just such a huge thing for me personally. Just really a day where I could sit with the Lord and pray a lot. As I just listen to you guys play that whole album. So
man. Wow, thank you so much. I love that because we really prayed and just bathed the whole night in prayer. and we're starting to see the fruit of it. Like I told you, we're starting to mix the tracks and stuff, and you can really feel like, man, the Holy Spirit was there, and just like the energy, and it was just so much fun.
Oh yeah,
it was awesome. So I always like to hear like the origin story. That's a big thing
yeah.
for me, you know, like because you're a phenomenal dancer, like you're very dedicated and committed to it. And I just want to know like, what got you into it? Like, what's the the moment when you were young where you're just like, yo, this is what I want to do? Kind of like, what's that story? You know?
Yeah. Well, I have been dancing for as long as I can remember. My mom always talks about that she wanted me to have the grace that she never had. She was an athlete, but she wanted me to have grace, so she put me in like ballet lessons like at like 3 years old. And I always laugh at that because I'm such a klutz. But just started dancing and kind of never stopped. Got to train with some really great teachers growing up, and I fell in love with ballet. I fell in love with art. But definitely like through middle school and high school, had this real struggle of just not seeing a way for my faith and my art to go together. And so like my freshman year of high school, like I took a year off from dancing completely because I was like, I don't ever see how I can commit the amount of time to dance that I need to succeed there. And also like if I'm forced to skip church or skip these things of like, how can these things go together? And
so you were dancing for 10 years from 3 to about 13-ish.
And so just, had that time of surrender, and but it was very hard. I was, kind of in that time, like begging the Lord kind of to give this thing back to me. And one super cool thing at my church growing up, we had this show choir for high schoolers called Chi Alpha. So it was very fun. We did, Christian, like contemporary music, and there was choreography, and we did every summer we went on tour, and we would go to different cities. So I think I went to Nashville and Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Awesome. And your church was having this?
Yeah, our church. And so we would do on tour, we would do concerts at like boys and girls clubs. We would do prison ministry and do, especially for like juvenile detention centers and different things. So we were able to like go in and provide some like entertainment for them, and we'd always have a speaker who would be there to like share the gospel. So that was like, I think that was really my big first encounter with seeing how art and faith can work together. And my the choir director, Jeff Askew, he founded this choir back at his like old church in Mississippi, like way back before. And I think he went to one other church maybe before ending up at the church that I grew up in Virginia, where I participated in it. But he was just so influential in encouraging me of like, yeah, you can do this. Like, here's some opportunities like to dance even more and to do different things. So I'm very grateful to him. At the same time, I was going through high school, doing this choir, looking at options for college, and I found Belhaven University, which is, I don't know if you've heard of it, my alma mater. It's a small Christian university in Jackson, Mississippi. They have a phenomenal dance program. And so I kind of set my sights there by junior year of high school. Was thrilled to get into the program on scholarship and attended there, where I double majored in dance and arts admin. But just like through being at Belhaven, again, I just more and more had like just mentors and leaders and professors who just helped to mentor us and guide us, and like, yes, like you can have excellence in your art, you can have excellence in dance, and be a believer. These things are not in conflict, which was just such a huge thing for me after just years of just feeling like butting heads between faith and art. And special thanks to Cynthia Newland. She was the chair of the department for a very long time, and then still taught a lot of classes while I was there, and I got to dance with her company called Feet Speak Dance my junior year of school, and we did a tour to Europe at the end of that year. It was awesome. Phenomenal, and it was a very interesting journey, kind of getting through all of the rehearsals, and there were just there was a lot of things going on, but definitely just saw the Lord's hand kind of guiding that. and one of the other dancers in the company, my friend Brianne, she now does full-time ministry in Spain. So you can just see how the Lord like used that trip and prepared like her. And now she's gone back to Europe and has been doing ministry there for like a year and a half.
Come on.
But yeah, through that experience, just seeing the Lord work and use dance and like faith and art, not just here and not just in our place, but like globally, and seeing how like this is something that is able to build and build his kingdom and uplift the church. And so that was just such an amazing time also in just shaping my journey as an artist and as a believer to see how the Lord is working in this in the Netherlands and in Germany and in just all over. So I think those are just like the formational things that really have just drawn me through going from this place of like conflict between faith and art to just seeing how like the Lord's hand really is in this place and like these things do work together. So I graduated college into the midst of a pandemic, but the Lord also had just opened the doors for me to start working at Ballet 5/8, and again, just a place where like faith and art are so intertwined, and got to use my admin degree for that job, and again, working on the backside of like making it possible for this art to shine. So
I love it. That's awesome. I just hear, girl, you have so much to unpack, right? There's so much to unpack. No, I love it. Because it's like God brought everything back together. So like I'm gonna start even back from your mom. Yeah. So her athleticism, God using that as an opportunity to kind of shift her mind, be like, I kind of want, my daughter to do some things a little differently and stuff. Even though, dance is athleticism
absolutely,
as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But like you said, graceful, different things like that. But even with that, God used her as the vessel to set you up for what your destiny would be. And then with that, you're doing all of this. You cried out to him like, God, I know this is my gift. And a lot of us as artists, we get to that place where we're like, dude, like, I know this is my gift. You gave this to me. Why would you shut this down? Why would you not let this be something that's going to continue onward for me to use in my day-to-day? And he showed you, he's like, I'm not just going to show you can put them together. I'm going to show you that this can be a global movement as well. Like how he tells us, the Great Commission, go out and make disciples of all nations. He used that in creativity because the scriptures start off, I'm creator. I'm creator. So we are at our best. We are in his image when we're creating. So he's like, use whatever method. And for you, it's creative dance. To reach people. Like, you going overseas, all this stuff. It's awesome. I love it so much. And like, now, there's two things I want to ask. So we're going to answer this one second. Okay? So you say you're from Virginia?
Yes.
And you went to school in Mississippi.
Yep.
And now you're in Chicago.
Yep.
So we're going to unpack that in a second. Okay. That's the next thing. I'm like, what? Like, we're putting it together. But the first thing I wanted to ask you was, what made you in your mind, did someone specifically, or was it a situation? What made you in your mind feel like you couldn't put the two together? Like, what made you, what was the thing growing up that was like, man, you're having this dichotomy, this issue, this wrestle in your head, in your mind?
Yeah.
Like, can you pinpoint what made you feel like that?
Yeah, sure. And I don't want to like throw people on the bus. I grew up, very grateful for the church community that I grew up in, and like great youth pastors and whatever, but definitely like there was this repeated theme in like youth ministry of like, are you skipping church because you're playing a sport? Are you putting football over whatever? And my mom would always be like, I know you don't, like, that doesn't matter to you, but put your things in place of that. And again, not throwing anybody under the bus, or, pastor would say that too. Or if it's not football, sub in your thing. And it's like, so then I was like, oh my gosh, well, I've had to leave early from things to go to rehearsals, or like I've had to sacrifice not doing this, like, discipleship weekend because, I had rehearsals and I couldn't miss rehearsal and I had to go to class because these things are important. And there was no one, at least just in my circle at that time, to be like, that's it's okay. It's like it's not so black and white, I guess. And I think if I had actually voiced something, people probably would have said it's not so black and white. This is okay. But for me, just hearing that and taking that in, you know, like as a young teenager, you know, I was like in this like very black and white world of like I can't do it, and so I just this tension just started to build and build and build and build.
Yeah, you probably had just very high convictions.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I have high convictions too with a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Some things, you know, things that have to be, you got to be holy.
Yeah.
But there's some things that you can be a little bit more, you be a little more lenient on this.
Yeah.
Because this isn't a sin or something.
Right.
So I know for you, it was probably just like, man, I really want to give my all to God.
Right.
And not dishonor him. So I got to, you know.
Exactly. And so just like, yeah, I think there's a little bit of childish misunderstanding in a way, but also, and just trying to, figure out, understand my own convictions and understand that. And so that tension just began to build. And at the same time, there was this also a call that I still feel like I have all my life towards you know, international ministry and cross-cultural ministry, and I feel like that's really important. And so there started to be opportunities like for that, and I was like, I don't understand how these things are going to go together. Like this doesn't make any sense. So there was definitely just like, a lot of tension that began to build for me just in my mind of like I don't see how these pieces of my life fit together. So.
Yeah. So that's where it kind of came from. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I'm glad that God kind of showed you like, no, all of it works together. You know, every part of you that I put in you, all of it works together. Yeah. I mean, the good, the bad, the sad seasons, the good seasons. I use all of it. Yeah. You're my child. I use all of it for the good. You know. So it's a blessing. So I'm glad he brought that at an early phase. You know, early on. You know, because a lot of people go like, man, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then finally be like, I'm going to kind of step into it. I can use you at any age, but it's just nice where you kind of have more on the back end to be used or to step into your calling rather than, you know, the reverse. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's awesome. Now, you've been around the whole United States, it sounds like. So tell me, so you grew up in Virginia. Yeah. And then school in Mississippi. I guess the Mississippi part was just because that was the school that you were like, man, this is where I want to go. Yeah. It was. Well, I also, born in New Orleans, actually. So originally from there and then to Virginia. So cool. Definitely like from the South. And so there was like, it appealed to me to go back to the Deep South for school. But then, it was just, and the story of us my mom and I finding Belhaven is super funny. So we were shopping at Target. Okay. And she spotted that's all the epiphanies happen. Yeah. At Target, obviously. We were in the parking lot. She saw a bumper sticker on this car. It said Ballet Magnificat. And she was like, what's that? She's like, that sounds like a Christian ballet company. And it's like, do you think? And she's like, it is. I'm pretty sure it is. And so she Googles it, and Ballet Magnificat pops up, and that's in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah. She's looking at it. Oh, this is so cool, Sarah. Like, I'd never really heard of Christian dance. Like, I was in middle school. Like, this, I was like my eyes were opened. I was like, I didn't know, like, this existed. And we started looking. We were looking at summer intensive, and it was very expensive, so I couldn't go. But as we were looking at summer intensive, we noticed that their housing was at this university called Belhaven University, and they had some classes there as well. And we were like, Belhaven University, what is that? Yeah. And so then we popped over to that page, and that's when we learned about the dance program. So I started exploring that more, and then also they had online dual enrollment for homeschoolers. I was homeschooled. So through finding Ballet Mag and a bumper sticker in a Target parking lot is how I found out about the school that I ended up going to. And the dual enrollment program I did for my junior and senior years of high school. So I started going to Belhaven at like 16. Wow, that's so cool. I can't believe it. And because you're homeschooled, so. Yeah, so then I started doing like the college classes. Wow. Holy smokes. Yeah, but it was just so funny. So pretty much the lesson for today, is when you're at Target, look at all the bumper stickers on every car in the parking lot. God is trying to speak to you. So I think
he does. Yeah.
I think that's what Sarah did. Man, that's so cool. I love it. Okay, cool. So we got Belhaven. Then you started working your jobs and everything like that, and you got connected with Rebecca.
Yeah.
And like the whole team and stuff. So how did all of that come together? Even the experience of just kind of. I mean, tell me if there's other productions you've helped create, but Sat in a Boat is the one I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But there's other ones, but just tell me how that even came together. Because one little thing first.
Yeah.
It sounds like for me, and you tell me, I love how when you do Sat in a Boat, at the end you present the gospel.
Yeah.
You have someone to come in and share like, okay, we did all of this interpretive type things, but now we're going to come just straight forward and just be like, yo, this is about Jesus Christ, you know? Did you kind of bring that piece in? Because it sounds like that's something that you guys would do at one of the events you were talking about.
Yeah, that was definitely very similar to the model that I grew up with at doing Chi Alpha and choir. But no, that was Rebecca and Sarah Baker. I think Sarah Baker actually came up with that. But no, how I got involved in Sat in a Boat is very funny because Rebecca had just started working at 5/8 in marketing.
Oh,
I had been there. I was the stage manager, production manager. I was doing a lot of the production for their shows. So scenic design and projection design, and also like talking to theaters and just kind of managing schedules. And it was very fun. I got to do a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of creative work there for a few years. But no, she started and one day she just came into the office maybe and was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I just got this grant from DCASE, which is the Department of Cultural Affairs and Events in Chicago. And she's like, I'm going to do this show. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And I was like, so exciting. She's doing a show. I bet she needs dancers. And I had not been on stage since college just because, I started working. It was still pandemic time, so there wasn't a lot happening. And then work was just very busy. So finding the times to for projects and like I wanted to was just very difficult. But like the next time she was in the office because she worked remote some days, I just plucked up the courage and I was like, I'm so excited about this grant that you got. Do you need dancers? And she was like, yes, I'd love to have you. She'd never seen me dance. Like we worked in the office together. Like we'd never been in a dance studio together. And I was like, crazy. You didn't ask me to take class or anything. You're just like gung ho, like yes.
Wow.
I was like, wow. So that was that was crazy. And again, so just like stepping out in faith and going, all right, maybe this is it. So
did you guys just meet like a couple years ago?
Yeah.
So what, 2021?
No, 2022. She started at 5/8 in 22 in the spring of 2022. So that was when we met.
So that was a quick turnaround.
That was quick, yeah.
Because October is when
October when was when the show was.
That's crazy because when I was there, okay, I'm one of those people, how God wired me.
Yeah.
If I meet someone for the first time and I'm just having a conversation with them, right away, if I sense something where I'm just like, yo, I need to connect with this person, I feel like there's some type of connection or something we're going to be doing together in some kind of way, or there's some kind of way I can support what they're doing. I just feel that, you know? So when we came to see you guys in October, you guys were so connected. Like, I felt like you guys have been dancing forever with each other, first off. And we're in the back row. We got there a few minutes late, whatever. So we're always sitting in the back. So we're sitting in the back, and you guys are down there killing it. And I told Gabby right there, I was like, yo, we started thinking of just people who would benefit from seeing this production. Yeah. And I told Gabby right away, I was like, yo, we got to connect with them to see if we can make this happen at a creative encounter event, whatever. And that was how it all went. But the way you guys did that, I would not imagine you guys just barely connected that year.
Yeah. Well, and Rebecca, props to her. She has connections far and wide. She's just, I love her to death. Yeah. She just has a way of connecting with people and connecting people together. Kind of like you're just talking about, like you see people and you know that there's like some sort of connection you need to make with them. And she just has a way of like just drawing and being able to just like pull people together. I think it's truly, truly a gift from the Lord. Wow. So like everyone in Sat in a Boat was some connection of her, and some of us, like some other folks knew each other. And some were new, like, friends. And so, But yeah, by the end, we definitely had like quite a bit of rehearsal together and just tried to like build that camaraderie. There definitely was an effort to build that unity together.
Yeah. You can feel when that family dynamic is there, and it was just so good.
Oh, it was so sweet. Sarah Baker, one of the dancers in Sat in a Boat, she just bought a house.
Yeah,
which is so exciting.
I gotta connect with Sarah again too. She's awesome.
But she had a housewarming.
Wow.
Last weekend? Yeah, I think it was last Friday. And it was so fun because, like, not everyone was there, but a good few of us from Satin About were there. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's been too long.
So did she buy, like, a dance studio for you guys to just dance?
No.
her house was like, wow.
No, it's like an apartment in Pilsen. And
that's so awesome.
Cute. Oh, so proud of her. It's so exciting.
I love that. It's so awesome just connecting with everyone again.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It was a nice little reunion. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, like, what journey are you currently on now? So the job that you transitioned from and that you're going into now.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about, like, you know, what that looks like as far as your creativity. Like, is this pushing you forward? Like, this is more opportunity to enhance and kind of move forward in what you're doing?
Yeah, so super exciting. I just started working for the Joffrey Ballet, which is Chicago.
It sounds fancy. I don't know. I'm not into dance, so like it sounds fancy.
So the Joffrey is Chicago's ballet company, essentially. So they were founded in 1956 in New York by Robert Joffrey and Gerald Arpino. Yeah. And then the company moved to Chicago in 1995.
Okay. So are they just based in Chicago now?
Yeah, so they're a Chicago-based company, does some touring as well. But, you know, roots in 20th century dance but they're Chicago's largest dance company.
Whoa,
so yeah, so it's very exciting. I'm the development assistant, so I help with fundraising. So connecting with donors, I do like a lot of like gift entry and stuff, which doesn't sound super exciting, but it's really fun. I'm enjoying focusing like on one thing. Before, my work kind of ranged a lot. I was doing a lot of different pieces of admin. So from the production admin side over to some donor admin, I would jump in on graphic design. It was super fun. I loved getting to create, and I love 5/8, so I loved getting to contribute. But it's been an exciting move, exciting transition for me to just focus in and like hone my skills that I've like really been interested in. Fundraising development is something that I really enjoyed when I was doing my arts admin degree. So it's been super fun, and just the experience of working on a larger team has been really exciting. It's definitely like, it's very different going from, like I said, 5/8 is wonderful and the mission is completely about telling stories that lead to these conversations about life, about faith. And the Joffrey is just not just another dance company, but you know what I mean? Like it's us, the mission is purely about the dance. So, and I love that because I love ballet, but it's definitely a different environment. And so like the way that I work and like, I mean, I'm like, you know, I glorify the Lord through doing my work well, but it's like, it's definitely a different experience. No, not, you know, at 5/8, I could go in and know that like my coworkers they're also my brothers and sisters. Like they got my back. And so it's different. Super blessed at that housewarming party for Sarah Baker. I met one of the Joffrey dancers who just started, who's a believer, because she started going to Second City Church with Sarah Baker.
When 2 or 3 gather.
That was amazing. So we were both super excited. We were like, oh my gosh, there's another believer here. This is great.
It always feels so good. It
was just like so exciting to meet another believer, and I'd had some friends and family just asking me like, oh, have you met another believer there yet? And I was like, no, there's no one. I like, which is like, again, it's like fine, like I can stand firm in my convictions, like that's like
being out in the marketplace.
In the marketplace, like that's how it is. But it was definitely just like a very encourage like moment to be like, wait,
look at God, what he doing? You know, because especially it just shows that his eye is on us specifically. You know, like just you as Sarah, he is focused on you. You know.
Well, and like you said, like 2 or 3 are gathered. Like he's not left. Like you're not alone in this place. So
that's it.
But it's been super awesome just getting started there, and I'm really really enjoying the work that I'm getting to do, and to be in such I know you said you don't know the dance world, but really such a
I've only seen what's that movie? It's like Save the Last Dance.
Oh,
that's the most I know.
Like the Julia
Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
But truly, like, one of the like foremost like dance companies, especially in the country, and so it's been really really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, super excited to get to see all the rep they do and
I love it.
work.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah,
man, congrats.
I got to
so
poke
dope.
in and watch rehearsal yesterday at the end of my workday. It was great.
Yeah,
We were
just refreshing.
It's just wonderful.
I love it. That's so cool. So pretty much you said a few things that you are just gifted at. So admin stuff, which I want to talk to you about. You mentioned some little pop-up things. I'm like, I want to talk to you. You know, got to see about that in regards to some things I do.
Yeah.
But admin stuff, dance, the current position that you're in now, different things like that. So with that, you have this whole toy box full of just options, right?
Yeah.
And then the question comes of like, if you could just do what you want to do fully, like what is it that you would just absolutely love to do that, you know, God will support? He's like, I got you. I'm going to put you out there. What is it that that you desire?
Golly. That's describing it as a toy box is really like, I feel like that's an apt description because that's definitely how I feel sometimes. It's like, I love this thing, and I love this thing, and they're all so fun. And I could I feel like I could pick something up and like dive into it and be just like so thrilled. But then there's so many other things. I'm like, I can't just decide.
Because you mentioned even international.
Like cross-cultural ministry.
Yeah.
Well, and with that, there's so many pieces, and I just have this like I guess conviction from the Lord, feeling from the Lord, like there's a time and a season for everything, and it's like, okay, Lord, you've brought me through these things, you've prepared me in these small ways for different things. So like I know that there are going to be seasons where I get to use all these different things that He has prepared me for. So I feel like it's just kind of like every day, like sifting through and seeing like in this new season, what is it that you're using? What is it that you're honing? Like honing in for me? I think with this position, new position specifically, I'm definitely getting to hone in on my admin. I mean, I think if I could pick the one thing and run with it, obviously it's dancing, it's performing, it's being on the stage. But I'm also a very realistic person, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not very realistic for me to just drop everything and try and do that right now. But I am excited, just the freedom in my schedule with the position I'm at now gives me time to actually take class more often and hopefully get into rehearsals. I really have a desire to go back to creating. I really, over the last few years, really since school, so last like 4 or 5 years probably, been interested in like screen dance and like dance on film. So I really I'm interested in applying for some grants in the coming year to work on some dance for film projects here in Chicago. So I'll let you know if I need some music for that.
Exactly. You know, it's crazy. If you watch the episode I did with Rebecca. I keep on saying Sarah because like two Sarahs, Rebecca.
I know, so confusing.
But but pretty much when I was with Rebecca, we were talking about like, yo, what would it look like if Sat in a Boat was like like a visual thing that you can have like a series type thing or something, you know? We brought that up, and then that was something she's like, that would be kind of dope, you know? So that's like kind of something on the back end.
In the back of your mind.
In the back of my mind, every so often, I'm like, yo, if we do something like that, how many people would be blessed? Like, yo, check out this YouTube link or this whatever, and just ministering to people, man. Because we have so many friends and family members who we really would love to see that, and they won't know until they know. So it's like they may just be like, oh, it's another Christian thing or something like that. It's like, well, once you experience it, you'll be like, yo, this is actually like real. Like, this will make me think. And it really it's really just thought provoking, which I love. So like, man, to just put that on a platform that everyone's using, like, you know, all the social media type of platforms. The live performance is amazing. We never want to take that away. Like ever, like live music, all that stuff, whatever. Let's have a digital outlet too for people.
But and that's the thing. Like, different mediums are useful for different things. Exactly. Yeah, you know, when you go to digital media, your reach instantly the accessibility increases
That's
tenfold.
it. Yeah.
So
That's why, like, even the in person, it's kind of cool how it wrapped up. So, Sad in a Boat was actually our last Creative Encounter event because I did a podcast some weeks ago saying we're no longer going to do the Creative Encounter events any longer, just the podcast. Because me as an artist, I need to really focus in on writing, creating, getting music out, and that time was. That was just kind of just shifting me from that. So that was awesome. That was like 1 year type of thing. And it segued into me like, yo, my heart is to promote people.
Yeah.
So still able to do that through this podcast,
Yeah.
have a wider reach using the digital platforms, and it's minimal input.
Yeah.
So right now we're just sitting here literally just talking.
Right.
And then so many people are like have just been blessed like this. I'll get text messages, posts on the episode saying like, man, this was a good, thank you so much. All of this. Like good people are being encouraged to step out through this. You know? So it's, I like how it wrapped up with Sad in a Boat being kind of like the last one. So, so special. That was the last one.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that it was gonna be either. We were just on a pause because the space we used was just they said, oh, we're gonna start in the summer because we're like updating and cleaning up the space. But in that season of waiting, I really just felt guys be like, I think it's time to make a shift.
Yeah.
From this to really focus in on this new season because a lot of the stuff he's calling me to will kind of be put on the back burner. You can get so caught up in helping and then God's like, okay, but what did you do that I told you to do specifically? Thank you so much for helping over here, but I told you specifically something to do too. Stop dragging with it or stop saying. So it's like, man, I really gotta zero in, you know?
Yeah.
So all that to say, like, Sad in a Boat was just like a really special thing for me, you know?
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was just, it was a super cool experience for me as well.
Yeah, I love it.
It was awesome to, and I told Rebecca, like, one of our first rehearsals, it was very funny, of, like, if you just need me to stand and face a wall, I will just stand and face a wall. Like, I don't care. Like, just do, like, you, like, whatever you need. And then it's very funny because we get into the creative process, and there's one point in the show where I just stand and I just, like, stare at a corner for, like, I don't even know how long, honestly. But I was like, I will put all of my energy into, like, and, like, wherever that, like, builds that whole picture. So it's just,
it all puts the whole picture together.
Yeah.
So good. I love it. Okay, so I want you to share with the creative something that they can go home with, that they can be encouraged to do, some final word of support and motivation and advice. What's something that you can give to the creative who wants to maybe even just dance or whatever it is that you want to give out?
Oh, that's...
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. I don't even know. I feel like, I mean, a lot of being an artist is just having patience, and I feel like we all know that there's a lot of patience to it, and so I feel like, things have not moved as, like, quickly as I would have liked, as far as, like, being able to make things and, like, be, I guess, the driving creative force for projects. But I definitely see that, like, season coming up, I think, just for multiple reasons. So I feel like just continue, like, know that the Lord has placed you where he's placed you for a purpose. And, like, in those seasons, like, there is purpose in it. And, like, those are, like, preparation for things to come. I feel like that has been something that just, like, over a long period of time in my life, the Lord has just, like, shown me over and over of, like, this season that you're in is good. Like, soak it up, use it, like, but also know that this is preparing you for the next season, and like, have patience for that next season, and like, because, like, you're gonna need this to do this fully.
That's good.
So I feel like that is just something that I have over and over kind of seen in my life, and seen this, the Lord, like, continuing to, like, bring back of, like, hey, remember this thing, hey, remember this thing, and, like, just crazy things, like, I don't know how it was, like, a year and a half ago, the roommates I was living with, one of the girls was like, hey, a couple of my siblings are moving to the Chicagoland area, and I'm going to move in with them next year. And, like, when we moved in together, we were like, we're going to live together for a while. Like, we're going to get settled. And so her being, like, 6 months into us living together, being like, hey, I'm actually going to go live with my siblings for a little bit. It was, like, really, like, it was sad. It was frustrating. But then as we decided how we're going to work this out, we're going to get another roommate, what we're going to do, that was when I ended up moving to Hyde Park, closer into the city. I'd been living out in the south suburbs. So that, which led me to finding my church, which has just been such a blessing. And then now with like the job transition, I'm now like, my commute for my new job is like 20 minutes on the train. I walk 2 blocks and I'm there. So it's like so funny. So this one thing of like my roommate from a year and a half ago being like, I'm going to move out and like live with my siblings, which is like a good thing, but it was not the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
But like that not the plan has like, just like looking like where I am now, it's like, oh my gosh, there's all these pieces like because of that one thing like kind of came together and just like to where like I'm at right now and like crazy? Put all these pieces together for this moment where like I have this amazing community of believers that I've been just like praying and praying and praying for so long, and then like this positioning just to be in the right place for like this job. It's crazy. It's so crazy. it's just like it's such a funny thing. But so it's just that like patience and like knowing and like the season you're in is a season and it's preparation.
I love it. That's just like how the scriptures tell us like man can make their own plans. But God determines the steps. You know, so it's like you can make this plan, but I'm gonna need to shift these pieces around because this is actually where I need you. And it's just like you said, just like it's preparation for the next thing. We don't know what's to come. Even this week a new opportunity will come. It's just like stuff. It's just always going. You just got to be just ready for it. And you still need to plan. You know, you still got to be strategic. That's part of life. Like, don't just be like, oh, just let anything happen.
No,
it's like, no, that's foolishness. You know, to be
being like,
you know, you know, to have a plan.
I was like, there's still work that went into all these things. There's still work to find, like
exactly. So it's like, you know, let God handle it. Trust in Him, but every step do what you're called to do and stuff. You know. I love it. Thank you so much, Sarah. This is awesome. So tell us how we can find you. If you have any, you know, works or any type of things online or for anyone to follow you. But,
I'm not super active on Instagram right now, but looking to maybe start showing more work as I get back into creating. So that's going to be at Sarah Lisbeth on Instagram is going to be the best place to find me.
I love it.
Or, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, but that's not super exciting.
Oh, man. Awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thanks for being on here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Well, guys, this is another Creative Encounter podcast episode. Please go ahead and leave us a review. Leave us a subscription on YouTube. Leave us a rating. All of that good stuff. And also, if you want to support this ministry and Juiette Z Payne music, hit the link below so you can become a monthly partner to support financially so we can continue to reach people through the gospel, through creativity, through music, and through this podcast. And if you want to be on Creative Encounter Podcast, go ahead and leave me an email at juiette@creativeencounter.org. Love you guys so much, and thank you for tuning in.